Welcome to Wisdom Audiobooks. Have you ever wondered how the darkest corners of psychology can help you relax and drift into a peaceful sleep? In today's fast-paced world, where stress and anxiety often keep us awake at night, understanding the hidden forces that shape human behavior can be both intriguing and therapeutic. This audiobook dives deep into the mysterious realm of dark psychology while offering practical insights to soothe your mind and guide you toward restful nights. Introduction. The audiobook 1 Hour of Darkest Psychology Tricks to Fall Asleep to is written and published by Wisdom Audiobooks. It is crafted with one goal in mind: to transform your restless nights into moments of profound relaxation and self-discovery. We understand the struggles many of you face: insomnia, racing thoughts, or simply the inability to unwind after a long day. These challenges are not just physical but deeply rooted in our psychological patterns. As Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This quote reminds us that understanding the darker aspects of human psychology isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. At Wisdom Audiobooks, we empathize with those who seek relief from sleepless nights and mental fatigue. Whether you're here for knowledge, relaxation, or personal growth, this audiobook promises to deliver value that transcends mere entertainment. By exploring the art of manipulation, deception, and persuasion, we aim to equip you with tools to protect yourself and cultivate inner peace. Stay tuned until the end because every chapter has been carefully designed to provide actionable strategies you can apply immediately. Your journey toward better sleep and deeper wisdom begins now. Your wisdom journey starts here. Chapter 1: The Hidden Power of Dark Psychology. Welcome to Chapter 1, where we delve into the hidden power of dark psychology. Have you ever stopped to think about the invisible forces that influence our decisions, relationships, and even our emotions? Dark psychology is not just a concept, it's a lens through which we can better understand human behavior, both its light and shadowy aspects. In this chapter, we'll explore what dark psychology truly means, why it matters, and how recognizing these hidden tactics can help you reclaim control over your mind. As Friedrich Nietzsche wisely stated, "He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster." This serves as a powerful reminder that understanding manipulation doesn't make us victims, it makes us vigilant. By the end of this chapter, you'll have a clearer picture of how dark psychology operates in everyday life and why awareness is your greatest weapon against its darker manifestations. Let's begin. 1. Defining dark psychology, unveiling the shadows within human behavior. Dark psychology refers to the study of behaviors and strategies used by individuals to manipulate, deceive, or persuade others for personal gain. While the term may sound ominous, it's essential to recognize that dark psychology isn't inherently evil, it simply uncovers the mechanisms behind certain actions that often go unnoticed. At its core, dark psychology explores three primary elements: manipulation, persuasion, and deception. Manipulation involves influencing someone's thoughts or actions without their full awareness. Persuasion, on the other hand, is a more subtle form of influence, often framed as beneficial or rational. Deception takes it further, deliberately misleading others through lies, omissions, or half-truths. Together, these components create a complex web of interactions that shape much of human communication. Why does this matter? Because understanding dark psychology allows us to identify when we're being influenced, and take steps to protect ourselves. Robert Greene, author of the 48 Laws of Power, once wrote, "Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer." This timeless advice underscores the importance of vigilance in navigating interpersonal dynamics. 2. Real-life examples of dark psychology tactics. Let's bring theory into practice with some real-world examples. Imagine a workplace scenario where an employee feels pressured to stay late because their manager subtly implies they might lose promotions otherwise. This is classic manipulation, a tactic designed to exploit fear or insecurity for someone else's benefit. Another example comes from social media. Ever noticed how influencers use scarcity? "Only 24 hours left to buy," or urgency, "act now before it's gone," to drive sales? These are textbook persuasion techniques rooted in psychological principles like scarcity bias and loss aversion. While effective, they highlight how easily we can be swayed if we're unaware of the underlying mechanics. Now consider a third case: gaslighting. Gaslighting occurs when one person manipulates another into questioning their own reality. For instance, imagine a partner dismissing your feelings by saying, "You're too sensitive," or "That never happened." Over time, such tactics erode trust and self-confidence. Recognizing these patterns is crucial to breaking free from toxic relationships. 3. Identifying red flags: how to spot manipulative behavior. So, how do you know when you're dealing with dark psychology tactics? Here are a few red flags to watch out for. Excessive flattery. If someone showers you with compliments only to ask for favors later, they might be using love bombing, a technique aimed at gaining your loyalty. Emotional blackmail. Phrases like, "If you really cared about me, you'd do this," are clear indicators of emotional manipulation. Constant criticism. When someone repeatedly belittles your ideas or achievements, they could be trying to undermine your confidence. Once you learn to spot these signs, you'll find it easier to distance yourself from harmful influences. Remember, knowledge is power, but action is what transforms knowledge into freedom. 4. A true story: breaking free from manipulation. To illustrate the impact of understanding dark psychology, let me share a brief story, one that highlights resilience and transformation. Meet Sarah, a young professional who worked under a demanding boss known for his micromanagement style. At first, Sarah admired her boss's dedication, believing his high standards would push her to excel. However, over time, she noticed something unsettling. Every time she completed a task flawlessly, he would shift the goalposts, claiming her work wasn't good enough. Feeling trapped, Sarah began researching manipulation tactics and realized her boss was employing a strategy called moving the goalposts. A common ploy used to keep people perpetually striving without ever feeling satisfied. Armed with this insight, Sarah decided to set boundaries. She documented her accomplishments, sought feedback from colleagues, and eventually confronted her boss during a performance review. Though challenging, her newfound awareness gave her the courage to advocate for herself. Sarah's journey teaches us an invaluable lesson: recognizing manipulation empowers us to take back control. As Maya Angelou famously said, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better." 5. Practical strategies to counter manipulative tactics. Now that we've explored what dark psychology looks like in action, let's focus on practical steps you can take to protect yourself and reclaim your mental peace. Here are some strategies to counteract manipulative tactics. Build self-awareness. Start by reflecting on your emotions and reactions when interacting with others. Ask yourself, am I feeling pressured or coerced? If the answer is yes, it might be a sign of manipulation. Journaling your thoughts can help you identify patterns over time. Set clear boundaries. Healthy boundaries are your first line of defense against manipulation. For example, if someone tries to guilt trip you into doing something, calmly state your limits. A simple phrase like, "I understand your perspective, but this doesn't work for me," can go a long way. Practice assertive communication. Being assertive means expressing your needs and opinions respectfully while standing firm in your decisions. Instead of saying, "Maybe you're right," try, "I appreciate your input, but I need to make my own choice." Seek support. Don't hesitate to confide in trusted friends or mentors when you feel manipulated. Sometimes, an outside perspective can help you see things more clearly. As Helen Keller once said, "Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much." Educate yourself continuously. Knowledge is your greatest ally. The more you learn about human behavior and psychological tactics, the less vulnerable you become. Books like Influence by Robert Cialdini or The Art of Thinking Clearly by Ralph Dobelli offer valuable insights into how our minds work and how they can be exploited. 6. Using dark psychology for good, turning shadows into strengths. While dark psychology often carries a negative connotation, it's important to note that understanding these principles can also empower us to foster healthier relationships and environments. For instance, Persuasion isn't inherently bad, it can inspire positive change when used ethically. Consider leaders who motivate teams through vision and encouragement rather than coercion. Let's revisit Sarah's story. After setting boundaries with her boss, she began applying her newfound knowledge to improve workplace dynamics. By openly praising her colleagues' efforts and fostering collaboration, she created a supportive environment where everyone thrived. This demonstrates that understanding dark psychology doesn't just shield us from harm, it equips us to uplift others. As Mahatma Gandhi wisely said, "The future depends on what you do today." When we choose to wield our understanding of human behavior responsibly, we pave the way for meaningful connections and lasting impact. 7. Relaxation techniques to process insights peacefully. Before moving on to the next chapter, let's take a moment to process everything we've discussed. Understanding dark psychology can stir up strong emotions, especially if you've experienced manipulation firsthand. To help you relax and integrate these insights, here's a simple breathing exercise. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. Repeat this cycle 5 times, focusing solely on your breath. This technique not only calms your nervous system but also anchors you in the present moment, a vital skill when navigating complex interpersonal dynamics. Conclusion of Chapter 1. In this chapter, we've uncovered the hidden power of dark psychology, the forces that shape human behavior behind the scenes. From defining its core elements to identifying red flags and implementing protective strategies, you now possess tools to navigate life's complexities with greater awareness. But remember, true growth comes from consistent application. As you move forward, challenge yourself to observe interactions critically and prioritize your well-being without compromising kindness. After all, as Viktor Frankl wrote in Man's Search for Meaning, between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space lies our freedom and power to choose our response. Chapter 2. Manipulation techniques that keep you awake at night. Have you ever found yourself lying in bed, replaying conversations or interactions that left you feeling uneasy? Often, these lingering thoughts stem from subtle forms of manipulation, tactics designed to exploit your emotions, insecurities, or vulnerabilities. In this chapter, we'll uncover the most common manipulation techniques used in everyday life and delve into why they have such a profound impact on our mental state. We'll also discuss how to recognize and neutralize these tactics so you can reclaim your peace of mind, and finally drift into a restful sleep. As Dale Carnegie once said, "When dealing with people, remember you are not dealing with creatures of logic, but creatures of emotion." This quote reminds us that manipulation thrives on emotional triggers, making it essential to understand its mechanics. By the end of this chapter, you'll be equipped with practical tools to identify and counteract manipulative behaviors. Let's dive in. 1. Understanding why manipulation haunts us. Manipulation is insidious because it preys on our deepest fears and desires. It taps into our need for approval, belonging, and security, often leaving us questioning our own judgment. For example, guilt tripping, a tactic where someone makes you feel responsible for their unhappiness, can keep you awake at night as you ruminate over whether you've done enough to please them. Similarly, gaslighting, a form of psychological manipulation that causes you to doubt your reality, can create a persistent sense of unease. Imagine being told repeatedly that your memory is faulty, or that events didn't happen the way you recall them. Over time, this erodes your confidence, and leaves you second-guessing every decision. The reason manipulation haunts us lies in its ability to bypass logic and target our emotions directly. When we're manipulated, we're not just processing facts, we're grappling with feelings of inadequacy, betrayal, or fear. These emotions linger long after the interaction has ended, keeping our minds racing well into the night. 2. Common manipulation techniques and their impact. Let's examine some of the most prevalent manipulation techniques and how they affect our mental health. Guilt tripping. This involves making someone feel guilty for not meeting expectations. For instance, a friend might say, "I guess I'll just handle everything myself since no one else cares." While seemingly harmless, guilt tripping undermines your autonomy and fosters resentment. Gaslighting. As mentioned earlier, gaslighting distorts reality by denying facts or twisting truths. A partner might claim, "You're imagining things, you always do that," leaving you confused and isolated. Love bombing. This technique overwhelms someone with excessive affection or praise to gain control. At first, it feels flattering, but over time, it creates dependency. When the love bombing stops, the victim is left feeling abandoned and unworthy. Silent treatment. Ignoring someone as punishment is another powerful form of manipulation. It leaves the recipient feeling anxious and desperate to resolve the situation, even if they weren't at fault. Each of these tactics disrupts our emotional equilibrium, triggering stress responses that interfere with sleep. According to psychologist Dr. Guy Winch, emotional pain activates the same brain regions as physical pain. In other words, being manipulated hurts, not just emotionally, but physically too. 3. The science behind sleep disruption caused by manipulation. To fully grasp why manipulation affects our sleep, let's look at the science behind it. Our brains are wired to process unresolved conflicts before resting. When we experience manipulation, our amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for detecting threats, goes into overdrive. This triggers the release of cortisol, the stress hormone, which keeps us alert and vigilant. A study published in the journal Sleep Medicine Reviews found that individuals who experienced interpersonal conflict reported higher levels of insomnia compared to those who resolved their issues. Manipulation prolongs these conflicts by creating confusion and self-doubt, making it nearly impossible to relax. Interestingly, research also shows that writing about emotional experiences can reduce stress and improve sleep quality. Known as expressive writing, this practice helps organize chaotic thoughts and provides clarity. We'll explore this technique later in the chapter. 4. A true story, breaking free from emotional manipulation. To illustrate the toll manipulation takes on mental health, let me share a story about Mark, a young man who struggled with guilt tripping from his family. Growing up, Mark was constantly reminded of how much his parents had sacrificed for him. Statements like, "We worked ourselves to the bone so you could have opportunities," made him feel indebted, even though he excelled academically and professionally. As an adult, Mark noticed that these comments still haunted him, especially during quiet moments before bed. He would replay conversations in his head, wondering if he was truly grateful enough. Eventually, he sought therapy to address the root cause of his anxiety. Through counseling, he learned to separate his worth from external validation and set boundaries with his family. Mark's breakthrough came when he realized he couldn't change his parents' behavior, but he could change how he responded to it. By practicing self-compassion and reminding himself of his achievements, he gradually silenced the inner critic fueled by years of guilt tripping. His story serves as a testament to the power of awareness and resilience. As Eleanor Roosevelt wisely said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." Mark's journey exemplifies how reclaiming consent over our emotions can transform our lives. 5. Practical strategies to neutralize manipulation tactics. Now that we've explored the mechanics of manipulation and its impact on sleep, let's focus on actionable steps you can take to neutralize these tactics and reclaim your peace of mind. Here are some proven strategies. Label the behavior. One of the most effective ways to disarm manipulation is to call it out directly. For example, if someone uses guilt tripping, calmly say, "I understand you're upset, but I don't appreciate being made to feel guilty." Naming the behavior strips it of its power. Detach emotionally. Manipulators thrive on emotional reactions. By staying calm and composed, you deny them the satisfaction of seeing you rattled. Practice mindfulness techniques, such as focusing on your breath or visualizing a safe space, to maintain emotional distance. Set firm boundaries. Clearly communicate what behaviors are unacceptable and enforce consequences when they're crossed. For instance, if someone employs the silent treatment, you might say, "I'm happy to discuss this when you're ready, but I won't engage in passive-aggressive behavior." Practice self-compassion. Manipulation often leaves us feeling inadequate or unworthy. Counteract these feelings by reminding yourself of your strengths and accomplishments. Repeat affirmations like, "I am enough," or "My value isn't determined by others' opinions." Limit exposure. If possible, reduce contact with chronic manipulators. While this may not always be feasible, especially in familial or professional settings, you can minimize interactions that drain your energy. As Dr. Henry Cloud, author of Boundaries, advises, protecting your time and energy is an act of self-respect. 6. Expressive writing, a tool for emotional healing. As mentioned earlier, expressive writing can be a powerful tool for processing unresolved emotions caused by manipulation. Here's how you can incorporate this practice into your nightly routine. Step 1. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Grab a journal or open a blank document on your computer. Step 2. Spend 10 to 15 minutes writing down any thoughts or feelings that have been troubling you. Don't worry about grammar or structure. The goal is to release pent-up emotions. Step 3. At the end of your writing session, jot down at least one thing you're grateful for from the day. Gratitude helps shift your focus from negativity to positivity. Research shows that this practice not only improves sleep quality, but also enhances overall mental well-being. As Ryder and Lamott once said, writing is a way to bring the inner chaos to the surface. 7. Relaxation exercise, the art of calming your mind. To help you further unwind and process what you've learned today, let's go through a simple relaxation exercise. Follow these steps. Find a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Slowly exhale through your mouth for 6 seconds. Repeat this cycle 5 times, focusing solely on the sensation of each breath. This technique not only calms your nervous system but also helps create a sense of tranquility before bed. Conclusion of Chapter 2. In this chapter, we've uncovered some of the most common manipulation techniques, from guilt-tripping and gaslighting to love bombing and the silent treatment, and explored how they disrupt our mental health and sleep. You've also learned practical strategies to identify and counteract these behaviors, protecting yourself from their negative effects. Remember, the key to dealing with manipulation lies in awareness and action. By naming these tactics, setting boundaries, and practicing self-compassion, you can regain control over your mind and life. As psychologist Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Chapter 3. The Art of Deception, a Double-Edged Sword. Deception is a fascinating yet complex aspect of human behavior. It exists in various forms: white lies, exaggerations, omissions, and its impact can range from harmless to deeply harmful. In this chapter, we'll uncover the mechanics of deception, examine its dual nature as both a protective shield and a destructive weapon, and learn how to navigate its presence in our lives. As Mark Twain once said, "If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything." This quote reminds us that honesty, while challenging at times, is the foundation of trust and clarity. By the end of this chapter, you'll understand how to recognize deception, protect yourself from its harmful effects, and foster authenticity in your relationships. Let's begin. 1. Understanding deception, what it is and why it matters. Deception occurs when someone intentionally misleads another person through lies, half-truths, or concealment of information. While it often carries a negative connotation, not all forms of deception are malicious. For instance, telling a friend they look great in an outfit, even if it's not your favorite, might be considered a white lie aimed at preserving their feelings. However, when deception becomes habitual or self-serving, it erodes trust and damages relationships. Consider workplace scenarios where employees withhold critical information to avoid accountability or exaggerate achievements to gain promotions. These actions create a culture of mistrust and undermine collaboration. Understanding the nuances of deception is essential because it helps us differentiate between harmless acts and harmful manipulations. As author Tim O'Brien wrote in The Things They Carried, "A lie sometimes can be truer than the truth." This paradox highlights how context shapes the morality of deception. 2. Common forms of deception and their impact. Let's delve into some of the most prevalent forms of deception and explore their consequences. White lies. These are small, seemingly harmless falsehoods told to avoid hurting someone's feelings. For example, saying, "I'm fine," when you're actually struggling emotionally. While white lies may seem innocuous, they can accumulate over time, creating a disconnect between what's real and what's perceived. Exaggeration. Amplifying facts to make a story more compelling or oneself appear more impressive is another common form of deception. Imagine a salesperson claiming a product will transform your life when, in reality, its benefits are modest. This tactic preys on hope and optimism, often leading to disappointment. Omission. Leaving out key details to shape someone's understanding is a subtler form of deception. For instance, a partner failing to mention they went out with friends when asked about their evening creates ambiguity and fosters suspicion. Fabrication. Creating entirely false narratives for personal gain is perhaps the most damaging form of deception. Whether it's spreading rumors or falsifying credentials, fabrication destroys credibility and undermines social cohesion. Each of these forms has unique implications for mental health and interpersonal dynamics. When we encounter deception, especially repeatedly, it triggers feelings of betrayal, confusion, and anxiety, all of which interfere with our ability to relax and sleep peacefully. 3. The science behind trust and deception. To fully grasp why deception affects us so profoundly, let's examine the neuroscience behind trust. Our brains are wired to seek connection and rely on social bonds for survival. When someone deceives us, it violates the implicit agreement of trust, activating areas of the brain associated with pain and rejection. A study published in the journal Nature Neuroscience found that experiencing betrayal activates the anterior insula, the same region involved in processing physical pain. This explains why being deceived feels so deeply unsettling. Furthermore, repeated exposure to deception can lead to hypervigilance, a state of heightened alertness that disrupts sleep and increases stress levels. Interestingly, research also shows that rebuilding trust after deception requires consistent honesty and transparency. According to Dr. John Gottman, a renowned relationship expert, trust is built in very small moments. These small moments include keeping promises, admitting mistakes, and demonstrating reliability over time. 4. A true story, overcoming betrayal through honesty. To illustrate the transformative power of honesty, let me share a story about Lisa, a woman who faced significant challenges due to deception in her marriage. For years, Lisa suspected her husband was hiding financial issues but chose to ignore her intuition. One day, she discovered he had accumulated substantial debt without her knowledge, leaving their family vulnerable. Initially, Lisa felt overwhelmed by anger and betrayal. However, instead of retaliating with accusations, she decided to confront him openly. During their conversation, she expressed her feelings honestly and encouraged him to do the same. To her surprise, he admitted his struggles with financial insecurity and fear of disappointing her. Together, they worked to rebuild trust by establishing clear communication channels and setting shared goals. Over time, Lisa realized that confronting deception head-on, not avoiding it, was the key to healing. Her story underscores the importance of addressing dishonesty directly and fostering open dialogue. As Mahatma Gandhi wisely said, "Honesty is the first chapter in the Book of Wisdom." Lisa's journey exemplifies how embracing honesty can transform even the most challenging situations. 5. Building trust, strategies to counteract deception. Now that we've explored the mechanics and impact of deception, let's focus on actionable steps to counteract it and rebuild trust in relationships. Here are some strategies to help you navigate deception effectively. Encourage transparency. Foster an environment where honesty is valued over perfection. For example, if a colleague makes a mistake, assure them that admitting errors is better than covering them up. This creates a culture of accountability and openness. Ask direct questions. When you suspect deception, ask specific, open-ended questions that require detailed answers. For instance, instead of asking, "Did you do this?" say, "Can you walk me through what happened?" This approach reduces the likelihood of evasive responses. Verify information. If something seems inconsistent or too good to be true, take the time to verify it. Whether it's cross-checking facts or seeking a second opinion, due diligence protects you from falling victim to falsehoods. Practice radical honesty. While complete transparency isn't always practical, striving for radical honesty can strengthen your relationships. Share your thoughts and feelings openly, even when it's uncomfortable. As author Brené Brown notes, vulnerability is the birthplace of connection. Set consequences for dishonesty. Clearly communicate the repercussions of repeated deception. For example, if a friend consistently lies to you, explain that their behavior is damaging the relationship and enforce boundaries accordingly. 6. The role of forgiveness in healing from deception. Forgiveness plays a crucial role in overcoming the pain caused by deception. Holding on to resentment only prolongs suffering and prevents personal growth. To practice forgiveness, follow these steps. Acknowledge your pain. Allow yourself to feel hurt without suppressing your emotions. Journaling or talking to a trusted confidant can help you process your feelings. Seek understanding. Try to understand why the person deceived you. Were they acting out of fear? Did they lack the skills to communicate honestly? Empathy doesn't excuse dishonesty but helps contextualize it. Decide to forgive. Forgiveness is a conscious choice to release anger and bitterness. It doesn't mean condoning the behavior. Rather, it frees you from its emotional grip. Rebuild gradually. Trust takes time to restore. Focus on small, consistent actions that demonstrate reliability and sincerity. As Desmond Tutu once said, forgiveness says you are given another chance to make a new beginning. By embracing forgiveness, you not only heal yourself but also create opportunities for healthier interactions. 7. Relaxation exercise. Cultivating inner truth. To help you integrate the lessons from this chapter and calm your mind before bed, let's engage in a guided visualization exercise. Follow these steps. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, inhaling slowly through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Imagine yourself standing in a peaceful garden bathed in soft sunlight. Picture a clear, still pond at the center of the garden. As you gaze into the pond, visualize your reflection. Notice how calm and authentic it appears. Silently affirm, I am truthful with myself and others. Spend a few moments absorbing the serenity of the scene. When you're ready, gently open your eyes and return to the present moment. This exercise promotes self-awareness and reinforces the importance of authenticity in your life. Conclusion of Chapter 3. In this chapter, we've explored the art of deception, its various forms, its dual nature as both protective and destructive, and its profound impact on trust and relationships. You've learned practical strategies to recognize and address deception, rebuild trust, and practice forgiveness. These tools empower you to foster honesty and authenticity in your interactions. Deception may be a double-edged sword, but understanding its mechanics allows you to wield it wisely, or better yet, replace it with truth. As Aristotle famously said, to avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. In other words, living authentically requires courage, but the rewards are immeasurable. Chapter 4. Persuasion Secrets to Calm Your Mind. Persuasion is often misunderstood as a tool of manipulation or coercion, but when used ethically, it can be a powerful force for good. It's not just about influencing others. It's also about understanding how our minds respond to subtle cues and using that knowledge to create harmony within ourselves. In this chapter, we'll explore the principles of persuasion, how they shape our daily interactions, and why mastering them can lead to greater mental clarity and relaxation. As Aristotle once said, "The fool tells me his reasons, the wise man persuades me with my own." This timeless wisdom reminds us that true persuasion lies in appealing to shared values and emotions. By the end of this chapter, you'll have practical tools to use persuasion techniques for self-soothing, improving communication, and fostering inner peace. Let's dive in. 1. Understanding persuasion, the art of ethical influence. Persuasion is the process of guiding someone, or even yourself, toward a particular belief or action through logical reasoning, emotional appeal, or social proof. Unlike manipulation, which relies on deception or coercion, Ethical persuasion respects autonomy and seeks mutual benefit. At its core, persuasion operates on three key elements, as outlined by Robert Cialdini in his groundbreaking book Influence: Reciprocity, Social Proof, and Authority. Let's break these down. Reciprocity. People are more likely to comply with requests if they feel indebted. For example, offering genuine help or kindness creates a natural inclination to reciprocate. Snake charmer analogy. Social proof. Humans tend to follow the crowd. When uncertain, we look to others for guidance. Testimonials, reviews, and group endorsements leverage this principle effectively. Authority. We instinctively trust experts and figures of authority. A doctor's advice carries more weight than a stranger's opinion because of perceived expertise. Understanding these principles allows us to navigate persuasive situations mindfully. Instead of resisting influence, we can harness it to calm our minds and improve decision-making. 2. How persuasion impacts mental health. When used unethically, persuasion can exacerbate stress and anxiety. Think about marketing campaigns that exploit fear. Buy now before it's too late. Or guilt. You deserve this luxury. These tactics prey on vulnerabilities, leaving us feeling overwhelmed and dissatisfied. However, ethical persuasion has the opposite effect. By aligning messages with our values and goals, it fosters a sense of clarity and purpose. For instance, motivational speakers often use persuasive language to inspire positive change. Their words resonate because they tap into universal desires for growth and fulfillment. Research supports this dual impact. A study published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that persuasive appeals based on empathy and authenticity reduce cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort caused by conflicting beliefs. In contrast, manipulative persuasion increases stress levels and erodes well-being. 3. Applying persuasion techniques to self-talk. One of the most transformative applications of persuasion is in reshaping your internal dialogue. Negative self-talk, such as, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never succeed," is a form of self-persuasion that reinforces limiting beliefs. By flipping the script, you can persuade yourself toward confidence and calm. Here's how to apply persuasion techniques to self-talk. Use positive affirmations. Replace negative thoughts with empowering statements like, "I am capable," or "I am worthy of success." Repetition strengthens neural pathways, making positivity feel natural over time. Leverage social proof. Surround yourself with supportive people who embody the qualities you admire. Observing their achievements reminds you that growth is possible. Appeal to logic. Challenge irrational fears by asking, "What evidence supports this thought? Is it truly accurate?" Rational analysis helps dismantle harmful narratives. Invoke authority. Draw inspiration from mentors, authors, or historical figures whose wisdom resonates with you. For example, recalling Viktor Frankl's assertion that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, can reframe adversity as an opportunity. 4. A true story, transforming anxiety through persuasive thinking. To illustrate the power of ethical persuasion, let me share the story of Emma, a young professional struggling with performance anxiety. Whenever she faced high-stakes presentations, her mind would spiral into catastrophic thinking. What if I mess up? What if everyone thinks I'm incompetent? Determined to overcome her fears, Emma began studying persuasion techniques. She realized that her anxiety stemmed from focusing on worst-case scenarios rather than realistic outcomes. Using Cialdini's principles, she developed a new approach. Reciprocity. Before presentations, Emma visualized her audience benefiting from her insights. This shifted her mindset from fear of judgment to excitement about contributing value. Social proof. She reminded herself of past successes and sought feedback from colleagues who praised her work. Their encouragement reinforced her belief in her abilities. Authority. Emma prepared meticulously, ensuring she became the subject matter expert. Confidence in her knowledge reduced her fear of being questioned. Over time, Emma transformed her relationship with public speaking. Her journey demonstrates that persuasion isn't just for influencing others, it's also a tool for transforming your inner world. As Maya Angelou wisely said, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better." Emma's story embodies this philosophy, showing how awareness and intentional effort can rewrite your narrative. 5. Practical exercises to master persuasive thinking. Now that we've explored the principles of persuasion and their impact on mental health, let's focus on actionable exercises to help you master persuasive thinking. These techniques will not only calm your mind but also enhance your ability to communicate effectively with others. Exercise 1. Reframe negative thoughts using authority. Imagine you're preparing for a challenging task, such as a job interview or an important meeting. If negative thoughts arise, "I'm going to fail," or "they won't like me," counter them by channeling authority figures who inspire confidence. For example, visualize yourself as Oprah Winfrey delivering a speech or Barack Obama addressing a crowd. Ask yourself, "What would they say to reassure me?" This mental exercise taps into the principle of authority, helping you adopt a more confident mindset. Exercise 2. Build reciprocity through gratitude. Start a daily gratitude journal where you write down 3 things you appreciate about yourself or others. Then, take one small action each day to express gratitude, whether it's thanking a colleague for their support or simply acknowledging your own efforts. By fostering a sense of reciprocity, you create a positive feedback loop that reduces stress and enhances well-being. Exercise 3. Practice social proof in everyday conversations. Pay attention to how people around you respond positively to certain behaviors or ideas. Use these observations to reinforce your own actions. For instance, if a friend shares how meditation has improved their focus, remind yourself of this social proof when you feel resistant to trying it yourself. Aligning your choices with trusted examples makes change feel less daunting. Exercise 4. Create a persuasive playlist. Compile a playlist of motivational quotes, affirmations, or speeches that resonate with you. Listen to it during moments of doubt or stress. Hearing powerful words from influential voices can instantly shift your perspective and provide clarity when you need it most. 6. Combining persuasion with relaxation techniques. Persuasion isn't just about influencing thoughts, it's also about calming the nervous system. Here's a simple relaxation technique that incorporates persuasive language to soothe your mind. Step 1. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths, inhaling slowly through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Step 2. As you breathe, silently repeat persuasive affirmations such as, "I am in control of my thoughts, my mind is at peace," or, "Every breath brings me closer to calm." Step 3. Visualize a peaceful scene, a serene beach, a tranquil forest, or a cozy room. Imagine yourself surrounded by supportive figures who believe in your strength and potential. Step 4. Spend 5 minutes absorbing the tranquility of the moment. When you're ready, gently open your eyes and return to the present. This exercise combines the power of self-persuasion with mindfulness, creating a holistic approach to relaxation. 7. The ethical use of persuasion in relationships. Persuasion doesn't just benefit individual growth, it also strengthens relationships. By applying ethical persuasion techniques, you can foster deeper connections and resolve conflicts more effectively. Here are some tips. Listen actively. Before attempting to persuade someone, listen carefully to their perspective. Understanding their needs and concerns builds trust and opens the door to meaningful dialogue. Find common ground. Frame your arguments in terms of shared values or goals. For example, instead of saying, "You should do this because I want you to," try, "Let's work together to achieve X outcome." Be transparent. Clearly explain your intentions and avoid hidden agendas. Transparency ensures that persuasion remains ethical and respectful. Offer solutions, not criticism. Focus on constructive suggestions rather than pointing out flaws. For instance, if discussing household responsibilities, propose a schedule that works for both parties instead of criticizing uneven contributions. By using persuasion ethically, you transform interactions into opportunities for collaboration and mutual understanding. Conclusion of Chapter 4. In this chapter, we've explored the art of persuasion, its principles, applications, and profound impact on mental health and relationships. You've learned how to apply persuasion techniques to reshape negative self-talk, practice gratitude, and cultivate inner peace. These tools empower you to navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and composure. Persuasion is indeed a double-edged sword, capable of either harming or healing depending on how it's wielded. By mastering its ethical use, you not only influence others positively but also transform your relationship with yourself. As Zig Ziglar famously said, "You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want." This philosophy encapsulates the essence of ethical persuasion, creating win-win scenarios that uplift everyone involved. Chapter 5: Falling Asleep Through Understanding Human Behavior. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, replaying conversations or interactions in your mind, wondering why someone acted the way they did? What if I told you that understanding human behavior could be the key to unlocking a peaceful sleep? Welcome to Chapter 5 of 1 Hour of Darkest Psychology Tricks to Fall Asleep To. In this final chapter, we will explore how deep insights into human behavior can not only help you make sense of the world around you but also calm your restless mind. By embracing understanding over fear, you can transform your nights from sleepless hours of rumination into moments of tranquility. As Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This chapter is about shining a light on those hidden corners of human psychology that often leave us feeling uneasy, so we can reclaim our peace of mind. The psychology behind unexplainable actions. Human behavior is complex, often unpredictable, and sometimes downright baffling. But beneath every action lies a motive, whether conscious or subconscious. When we fail to understand these motives, we tend to fill the gaps with assumptions, fears, and even paranoia. These unresolved thoughts are what keep us tossing and turning at night. Let's take an example. Imagine a close friend who suddenly becomes distant without explanation. Your mind may spiral into negative self-talk. Did I do something wrong? Do they no longer care about me? Without clarity, these questions can haunt you for days, weeks, or even months. But here's the truth: most people act based on their own internal struggles, not because of anything you've done. As Viktor Frankl wisely stated, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." Understanding this principle gives you control over your reactions and emotions. When faced with confusing behavior, ask yourself, could they be dealing with personal challenges I'm unaware of? Is it possible their actions reflect their insecurities rather than my worth? By shifting your perspective, you stop taking things personally and start seeing others' actions as reflections of their inner world, not yours. Acceptance and forgiveness, the path to inner peace. One of the most powerful tools for calming your mind before bed is learning to accept and forgive. Holding on to grudges or resentment creates emotional baggage that weighs heavily on your psyche. It's like carrying a backpack full of rocks everywhere you go. It slows you down and drains your energy. Research shows that practicing forgiveness significantly reduces stress levels and improves overall well-being. Dr. Fred Luskin, author of Forgive for Good, explains that forgiveness isn't about excusing bad behavior, it's about freeing yourself from the burden of anger and bitterness. Here's a simple exercise to practice forgiveness tonight. 1. Lie comfortably in bed and close your eyes. 2. Think of someone whose actions have troubled you recently. 3. Silently say to yourself, I release this pain. I choose peace over resentment. 4. Visualize placing the weight of your anger into a balloon and letting it drift away into the sky. This small ritual can work wonders in clearing your mind and preparing it for restful sleep. A real-life story of transformation through understanding. Let me share a story that illustrates the power of understanding human behavior. Sarah, a young professional, struggled with insomnia for years. She would lie awake replaying arguments with her boss, convinced he disliked her and was deliberately making her life difficult. Her anxiety grew so intense that she began dreading workdays. One day, during a team-building workshop, Sarah learned about personality types and communication styles. She discovered that her boss wasn't intentionally targeting her. He simply had a direct communication style that clashed with her more sensitive nature. Armed with this new understanding, Sarah approached him openly, sharing her feelings and asking for feedback. To her surprise, he apologized for any misunderstandings and assured her of his support. Sarah's breakthrough came when she realized that her boss's behavior stemmed from his leadership style, not malice. By reframing her perception, she stopped losing sleep over imagined slights and rebuilt trust in their working relationship. Today, Sarah sleeps soundly, knowing that understanding others has transformed her life. Meditation for sleep, a simple guide. Now let's transition into a practical activity designed to relax your mind and prepare you for deep sleep. Meditation is one of the most effective ways to quiet racing thoughts and cultivate mindfulness. Here's a step-by-step guide to a calming bedtime meditation. 1. Find a comfortable position. Lie flat on your back with your arms resting by your sides. Close your eyes gently. 2. Focus on your breath. Take slow, deep breaths. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, and exhale through your mouth for 6 counts. Repeat this cycle 5 times. 3. Scan your body for tension. Starting from the top of your head, mentally scan each part of your body, your forehead, cheeks, neck, shoulders, arms, legs, and toes. Release any tension you notice. 4. Visualize a peaceful scene. Picture yourself in a serene environment, a quiet beach, a lush forest, or a cozy cabin. Imagine the sights, sounds, and smells around you. Allow this visualization to soothe your senses. 5. Affirmations for relaxation. Whisper softly to yourself. I am safe. I am calm. I deserve rest. Let these words sink deeply into your subconscious. Practicing this meditation consistently will train your brain to associate bedtime with relaxation, making it easier to fall asleep naturally. Connecting the dots. Lessons from previous chapters. Before we conclude, let's revisit the key lessons from earlier chapters and see how they tie together to enhance your sleep quality. From Chapter 1, you learn the importance of recognizing dark psychology tactics and using them to build self-awareness. Chapter 2 taught you how manipulation techniques affect your mental health and offered strategies to overcome them. In Chapter 3, we explored deception and its dual nature, emphasizing the value of honesty in relationships. Chapter 4 highlighted persuasion as a tool for reducing stress and improving communication. All these insights converge in Chapter 5, where understanding human behavior becomes the ultimate antidote to sleepless nights. By combining knowledge, empathy, and mindfulness, you create a foundation for lasting peace. The ripple effect of understanding. When you begin to understand human behavior, you create a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own mind. It transforms not just how you perceive others but also how you interact with the world. This newfound clarity can dissolve the anxiety and frustration that often keep you awake at night. Let's delve deeper into the psychology behind seemingly irrational actions. People are driven by a mix of conscious decisions and subconscious impulses. For instance, someone who constantly interrupts during conversations might not be intentionally rude. They could simply crave validation or attention due to deep-seated insecurities. By recognizing this pattern, you shift from judgment to compassion, freeing yourself from unnecessary emotional turmoil. Understanding behavior isn't about excusing harmful actions, it's about gaining perspective. As Maya Angelou wisely said, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better." When you approach life with this mindset, you stop taking things personally and start seeing the bigger picture. The power of empathy in healing relationships. Empathy is one of the most powerful tools for fostering understanding and improving relationships. It allows you to step into another person's shoes and view situations from their perspective. Practicing empathy doesn't mean agreeing with everything someone does. It means acknowledging their feelings and motivations without letting them dictate your emotional state. Here's an exercise to cultivate empathy before bed. 1. Think of someone whose behavior has upset you recently. 2. Ask yourself, what might they be feeling or experiencing that led to their actions? 3. Write down 3 possible reasons unrelated to yourself. This simple act of reflection helps you release resentment, and replace it with understanding. Over time, you'll notice that your mind becomes quieter, less cluttered with unresolved conflicts, making it easier to drift into sleep. Why acceptance matters. Acceptance is another cornerstone of inner peace. Life is unpredictable, and people will always behave in ways we don't fully comprehend. Fighting against this reality only amplifies stress and disrupts sleep. Instead, learning to accept what you cannot change empowers you to focus on what truly matters, your well-being. Consider the Serenity Prayer, often attributed to Reinhold Niebuhr. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. These words encapsulate the essence of acceptance. When you apply this principle to human behavior, you stop wasting energy on futile attempts to control others and redirect it toward nurturing yourself. To practice acceptance tonight, try this affirmation as you lie in bed. I accept that I cannot control others' actions, but I can choose how I respond. I release the need to fix everything and trust that peace begins within me. A story of redemption through compassion. Let me share another inspiring story that highlights the transformative power of understanding human behavior. Michael, a middle-aged man, struggled with anger issues stemming from his strained relationship with his father. Growing up, he felt neglected and unloved, which shaped his worldview and interactions with others. He carried this pain into adulthood, lashing out whenever someone criticized him or failed to meet his expectations. One day, while attending a therapy session, Michael learned about attachment theory, a psychological framework explaining how early relationships influence adult behavior. Through this lens, he realized that his father's emotional distance likely stemmed from his own childhood trauma, not from a lack of love for Michael. This revelation was a turning point. Instead of harboring resentment, Michael decided to write a letter to his father, not to confront him but to express gratitude for the lessons he had unintentionally taught. Though he never sent the letter, the act of writing it brought immense healing. Michael began sleeping better, no longer burdened by decades of suppressed anger. Stories like Michael's remind us that understanding human behavior isn't just an intellectual exercise, it's a pathway to emotional freedom. Meditation for sleep, a deeper dive. Now, let's revisit the meditation exercise introduced earlier and expand on its benefits. Meditation works because it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms the body and prepares it for rest. Regular practice rewires your brain, reducing activity in the amygdala, the region responsible for processing fear and stress. Here's an enhanced version of the bedtime meditation. 1. Begin by lying comfortably and closing your eyes. Take several slow, deep breaths. 2. Visualize a golden light surrounding your body, protecting you from negative thoughts and emotions. 3. Silently repeat affirmations such as, I am safe. I am loved. I am enough. Every breath I take brings me closer to peace. 4. Imagine placing each worry or thought onto a cloud and watching it drift away. By incorporating this meditation into your nightly routine, you'll train your mind to associate bedtime with calmness rather than chaos. Audiobook conclusion. Embracing wisdom for a calmer mind and better sleep. As we reach the conclusion of 1 hour of darkest psychology tricks to fall asleep to, let's take a moment to reflect on the transformative insights you've gained throughout this journey. Each chapter has been carefully crafted to equip you with tools that not only deepen your understanding of human behavior but also nurture your mental well-being. Chapter 1 introduced you to the hidden power of dark psychology, teaching you how manipulation, persuasion, and deception can be understood as mechanisms for self-awareness rather than fear. Chapter 2 explored manipulation techniques that often linger in our minds at night, offering strategies to identify and overcome these intrusive thoughts. In Chapter 3, we delved into the art of deception, a double-edged sword, and emphasized the importance of honesty in building trust and fostering healthy relationships. Chapter 4 revealed the secrets of persuasion, showing you how to use its principles to reduce stress and improve communication. Finally, in Chapter 5, we embraced the profound impact of understanding human behavior, learning to replace judgment with empathy and fear with acceptance. These lessons are more than just theories, they're practical steps toward achieving inner peace and better sleep quality. By integrating them into your daily life, you'll find yourself less burdened by anxiety and more capable of navigating the complexities of human interaction. Now that you've absorbed these insights, it's time to put them into practice. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process fueled by small, consistent actions. Here are some actionable steps to help you apply what you've learned. 1. Practice self-awareness daily. Start each day by reflecting on your interactions. Ask yourself, did I react out of fear or understanding? This simple habit will strengthen your ability to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. 2. Identify manipulative tactics early. Whether at work or in personal relationships, stay vigilant against manipulation techniques like guilt-tripping or gaslighting. Use the knowledge from Chapter 2 to set boundaries and protect your emotional health. 3. Cultivate honesty and trust. Be mindful of your words and actions. Strive to build transparency in your relationships, knowing that authenticity fosters deeper connections. 4. Use persuasion positively. Apply the principles of reciprocity and social proof to enhance your communication skills. These tools can help you resolve conflicts and create harmony in both professional and personal settings. 5. Meditate before bed. Incorporate the guided meditation exercises from Chapter 5 into your nightly routine. They'll calm your mind and prepare it for restorative sleep. Every step you take brings you closer to a calmer mind and a happier life. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, "The future depends on what you do today." So start now, embrace these practices with patience and persistence. Before we part ways, I want to express my deepest gratitude for joining me on this enlightening journey. At Wisdom Audiobooks, our mission is to empower individuals like you with knowledge that transforms lives. Your presence here inspires us to continue creating meaningful content that resonates with hearts and minds worldwide. If you found value in this audiobook, please consider supporting us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. Your feedback means the world to us, and every recommendation helps spread wisdom to those who need it most. Together, we can build a community rooted in empathy, understanding, and growth. In closing, remember this powerful quote by Lao Tzu. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. May you carry these lessons forward, using them to cultivate resilience, compassion, and tranquility in all aspects of your life. Thank you for listening to 1 hour of darkest psychology tricks to fall asleep to. Sweet dreams await you tonight, and brighter days lie ahead tomorrow. Until next time, sleep well and live wisely.